like to thank Pat for inviting me to this, and I'd like to thank the members of ISPCS. I have to tell you, I'm more of a telecommunications person than a satellite. We use satellites, and I'll tell you about that. But our industry events are a downer. People are really negative and a lot of bitching and moaning, to be honest. And this week I've been here has been so inspiring. It's like therapy. I mean, my company's not going to know what hit them when I walk in on Monday, because the ideas that people have, the upside, I mean, I haven't heard any downers yet. So anyway, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Little clicker. So X2nSat's more of a telecommunications company than a satellite company. We do use satellite. And, you know, there's a couple differences from that. You can think of us as kind of the end user, or very close. Our customers are probably the actual end user of the satellites and the communication systems that you guys are designing and building. We specialize in something called the ground segment, which will be the modems and the hardware and the antennas that are used to make those things work. So that's kind of our little area. So we have a ground station, like I said, in Petaluma, California. These are the pictures I'm showing you now. This is a third generation space gateway. We have an older second generation space gateway in Atlanta that we purchased some time ago from VSAT, for those who know VSAT. And we've been pressing innovation quite a bit on our side of the map. So when we look at our customer applications, which are all government or industrial or business, not consumer, you know, we look at the applications they want. What do they want to do? Internet of Things, machine-to-machine type traffic, you know, those sort of things, video, surveillance. We've been taking those design things back. We've been pushing on the spacecraft manufacturers and pushing on the spacecraft operators like IntelSat and SES and such, trying to get them to innovate and help us create the satellite ecosystem we need to succeed. It's been slow, and again, in our conferences, there's not a lot of energy for that. So I'm really glad to see it here. So what we're doing at the spaceport is essentially building a fourth generation satellite gateway. So this is the Google picture of the spaceport, if you recognize it, if you know the layout. The red box is more or less the area that we're going to lease, that will build a facility. It'll be very similar to what we have, the picture of the big antennas. There'll be more of them. It'll be broader. But it'll be a fourth generation. And the big difference between a third generation gateway and a fourth has to do with more of the HTS satellites, the LEOs, the small sats, and a lot of that has to go with frequency reuse and some of the architectures that we're building in the networks these days. So the spaceport's been fantastic to work with. The state of New Mexico has been fantastic to work with so far. They're practically tripping over themselves with so many people. I really can't keep the org chart straight. Each one saying, "Call me, I will help you." So that has been fantastic, and we look forward to doing that more in the future. One of the applications I kind of wanted to touch on is the Internet of Things, machine-to-machine sort of traffic. Again, we're not a consumer-based service provider. We're more industrial and utilities. So a lot of our big users will be things like public utilities, electrical grids, putting sensors into substations to do analysis or faults or safety. Pipeline systems. There's a lot of pipeline systems that have to have a lot of safety valve control type work in them. And so these users have a lot of very specific requirements. And those requirements are kind of at odds to the business design of consumer systems. I'll give you an example. We have a pipeline customer, the largest pipeline operator in the country. And if they lose a packet, they want an investigation on that. And the consumer systems we see in satellite, Ka-band, the things that you see at your house, you know, your Wild Blue, your HughesNet thing, it's really kind of more designed for kind of a 16-year-old looking at Facebook. It's a lot like your 4G. If it doesn't work, you're not really going to call the phone company and complain. You're just going to walk 50 feet, and you're going to try again, and it's going to work, and you're going to be happy. So a lot of the quality that goes into it, a lot of the reliability, a lot of the security, these are very different application issues. And while I agree with the previous speakers talking about, well, we'll just put so many up there that when they fail, you won't really know. Well, if they fail and we won't really know, that's fantastic. But if they actually fail and we know, but just for a little while, that's going to limit it to a certain user group. And that is the biggest user group in consumers, so I understand the money behind that. But I do, for my own personal interest, not want to get cut out of the design part of the conversation of the industrial and the high-end users. So I don't think I have very many more pictures. I think I went through them. Oh, project status, what are we really doing? So the rest of this year, we're trying to finalize our lease agreement with the spaceport. We've got a little bit of work to do on that. We've got to get through the architectural plans and the engineering documents. We hope to build the utilities to the site. That piece of dirt is out a little ways, and we've got to build power and fiber and a lot of other things to it. We've got to construct the main buildings, and then we've got to install the first 2 big antenna systems. So it's a little bit of an aggressive schedule, but we really hope that we can get through that by the end of 2016. So with that, I'll finish 3.5 minutes early to try to get us back on time. Any questions? No?
Thanks.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.